Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Broadway Speaks Out. I'm your host, Martin Gould Cummings, and today we are sitting down with theater legend and performer Billy Porter. Billy's not only known in the theater world, he's also known very largely in the music industry. And we're going to talk today a little bit about Billy's influence on the LGBT community. I read recently an article that you did for The Advocate back in 2006, and it was about growing up in the church and hearing people as you were growing up speak about how your light shone too brightly a little bit. And can you just tell us about the experience of growing up in the African American community, in the religious community, and what it was like to discover being gay?
It's a double-edged sword, because there's the side of the African American religious community that is so uplifting and so spiritual and so powerful and so much the foundation and the root of, empowering the culture. But if you don't fit into the paradigm and the strict dogma of exactly what the religious doctrine dictates, there tends to be a backlash, a sort of excommunication, as it were, and so it's a difficult thing, because I love my people and I love the church and I loved growing up in the church, and it has influenced me as a human being. My spirituality, my base, my root, how I live my life is all sort of rooted and based in what I learned as a child in that sort of institution. However, there came a point when I had to break away and step away from it so that I could find who I was, and how I could truly allow my light to shine in the world from a real truthful place. And that was, largely the acceptance of my homosexuality.
So coming to terms with yourself, and then I feel that as somebody who is so widely known in this industry, you are a huge influence on young LGBT people. How do you feel about being that voice, that person that influences so many people? Because I remember when I was probably like 15, you were on an Oprah episode, and it was incredible to see.
15? That was only a couple of years ago. How old are you
maybe
now?
I was like, I'm 21. What was that? Maybe I was like 17. I don't know.
I mean, please, Lord.
I felt like I was 15. I remember seeing that episode and just thinking to myself, gosh, there's somebody on the most widely watched talk show in the world speaking about being out and proud and happy and successful. And what was it like to go on that show that is so viewed and to just speak so powerfully and so boldly?
Well, I have to say that I am incredibly humbled by the idea that what I do or what I represent or anything that I have done or represent in the world has had an influence on anybody. Just let me say that, because because it's not it's like I just put one foot in front of the other, and hope that I'm making decisions that matter. So the fact that my intentions are being received in the manner in which they are really truly being heartfeltly given is really humbling to me. It sort of fell out of the sky, this idea of being gay and being out and talking about it. It sort of just happened. It wasn't like, it wasn't like I got up and I said, oh, I'm going to stand on the mountaintops and, be as gay as I possibly can be. And, it didn't happen like that. I have to admit, it didn't happen like that. That was not my intention. My intention was to be a superstar. That was my initial intention. And in the process of sort of navigating my way through that terrain, to kind of get to superstar status or whatever that means, I discovered that I couldn't be myself if that was in fact what I wanted. And so I came to a crossroads in my life and in my career that became about, okay, do I want to be a truthful, honest, real human being who happens to be in show business? Or do I want to make decisions that make me have to live a complete and utter lie for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Which one is it going to be? Which one are you going to choose? And ultimately, at the end of the day, there wasn't a choice for me, because I have seen the repercussions of what it is to live a lie. And those repercussions are dire, to the point of like death, for real. Like literally you can kill yourself, having to live that kind of lie in public always.
Because you can never be yourself.
So, I did make the conscious decision to go, you know what, I'm not really interested in lying. So whatever that means and however that plays out is I'm sort of willing to take.
Which I just think everything you just said is such a strong message for anybody who watches this, that you can reach superstar status and be yourself and not have to lie. And that's
I think we're on the way to that, but I also think that the question needs to be, more importantly, what does being a superstar mean? What does that have to do with being of service to anybody other than your own ego? You know what I mean? Like, ultimately, being a superstar is about your own ego, one's own ego, which is not, I'm not judging it. I'm just saying, for me, as an artist and as a human being, those questions became more and more apparent to me and sort of came more into the forefront of my life. It was like, well, wait a minute, show business can be very alluring, and it's like, do I want applause? Do I want money? Do I want fame? What is, or am I an artist and do I want to be represented for what I contribute to society as an artist?